Good morning.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah. So let's start today's session. So see, we have already seen about means delegation, capturing, and bubbling were completed yesterday, right? So now we have another topic, and for that topic we will need callback, exclusive use of callback. Okay. So I'm just repeating what we have learned in callback till now. So basically, what is callback? Any function which is passed as argument, right? So this is callback. Now here if you can see, I have one function, okay? It is taking some argument and then it is just writing this kind of a statement. So here by seeing this statement we can quickly see that okay, this must be a function call, right? Now seeing another function, we have another function and that is simply consoling something, okay? Now we have this. How this my function one is getting called. This is the procedure how it is written. So my function one, inside the parenthesis it is written my func two, which means that my func one is getting called and it is having my func one as parameter. So basically if a function is in parameter or if it is an argument, then we call it as callback. Now if a function is called, we will go in its definition, so we will go in the definition of my func1. Now here we have simply first line is to console something. So first of all, what will happen? This function is doing task 1, this will be printed, right? Then what will happen? Callback will be called. What is callback here? Callback is this my func2, right? So now we will go on my func2 because if it is called then we have to go in its definition. So here we will go in my func2. Here what it is given, just a single line of console that just print that function is doing task 2. So what will be the final output? The final output will be function is doing task 1 and then function 2 is doing task 2. I hope this is clear how we write callbacks, right? Let's see another program.
Yes.
Here, what am I trying to do is I am taking two numbers, okay, and then when I take two numbers, I have two types of callbacks. Let's see what I'm trying to say. Let us just start from here. See, I have one function get two numbers and add. Okay, so what I will do, I will get two numbers and simply add them. The function name is clear. And mostly, whenever we write any function name, it should be meaningful and also related to the task which is going to do. So here it is taking four arguments. 4, 4 means these must be two numbers. Then add two numbers. If you see add two numbers, you will find here that it is a function already. And on fail. So on fail is also a function, right? So here what these two are simply callbacks.
Callbacks. Okay.
So now
Yeah.
let's see what is basically in the definition of this get two numbers and add. When it is here, it is getting called. So we will go in its definition. We came here. We get in number one, 4 is here. In number two, 4 is here. On success, we have this function add two numbers. On failure, we have this on fail method, right? Now, here what we are doing, we are checking if number is number and if type of number is also number because maybe the user can give here any kind of input. So what am I doing basically is get two numbers. So you can take the two numbers through inputs or any way. Okay. So here there's a chance that sometimes we also miss na while filling the form. We are always used to that. Okay, first they will ask us a name, then email ID, then phone number. So even if they have asked phone number, sometimes we just by mistake we add something else. So here what we are going to do, we are going to do addition on it. So we can't do addition which are other than number. If we take a string and then we add, then it will be concatenation, right? So here we have to explicitly check that they both should be number. So there is just one checking condition here. Now if this case pass, we have another call which is on success, and in this we are passing the two numbers. Otherwise we are just calling this on failure function. I hope it is clear. If it
So on success, it is a function or something else.
Yeah, on success is a function, it is clear from the
But
syntax only.
how it's executed then?
How it? Pardon?
Executed.
Yeah,
Executed then.
that I'll just tell you. So for now, what is the code saying? That if this condition is fulfilled, then they will call on success function, and if it fails it will call on failure function. Now let's see what we are passing. We have passed 4 and 4. So here number 1 is 4 and number 2 is also a number. Okay, so basically this is number fulfilled, this is a number fulfilled. So where we will go, we will come here in on success. Here if you see this line, you will get that we are basically calling this on success method, right? Now you will see what is on success. On success is basically add two numbers. So now we will come in the definition of add two numbers. Here we have got the two numbers which we have passed. This number one and number one are connected, and this num2 and this are connected. So both have got 4 in it. Okay, so now what will be the console? The console will be 8. Clear? Now let's see what happens. Suppose here I pass it in a string. Just wait. This first condition is clear. When it is getting fulfilled, everything is fine.
Yes, yes, yes. After the validation, it goes to the add two numbers, no?
Yeah, means after actually it is going to the on success. So what's happening now?
On,
JavaScript does not
on
know
success
that.
means add two numbers, no?
Yes,
We
correct.
provided the parameter, no? Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, for JavaScript, this on success is basically add two numbers itself. Okay, so no confusion. Now suppose this second one is a string. Okay, first number is 4 as a number, and second one is a string. So here what will happen? Number 1 equals to number. Yes, condition passed. So we will go in the second also to check. If it was or, just remember we will not go and check the other one. Okay, so obviously just take care of these operators also. Now we come and check the number 2. What is number 2? Is it number? No, it is not number. And also note that here triple equal to sign are there. Okay, so this is not number. So this condition failed. If this condition is failing, where we will go? We will go in the else part. So in the else part, what is there? On failure function is there. So what is on failure function basically? It is on fail, right? So here we will come in the on fail and it will console these two lines that wrong data type, please pass numbers only. That's all. Simple program, right? And I think
Yes, yes.
we,
Simple.
yeah. So you should be used to these kind of small functions till now. Now going
Yeah.
ahead. See, you remember the way we have written this, right? Actually, I have just curated all these things because I want to reach to a step. Okay. So for that, I am just explaining these functions. They are very useless for now, but the way they are written, that is important. Now again, I have the same thing. I have one get two numbers and add. Okay, it is having number one, number two, on success, on failure, and then it was having these two lines. Okay. Now, in place of,
Aishi,
yeah,
can I ask something?
yes.
In that if validation,
Hmm.
why we use type of, no? If we have a triple equals, it actually compare the values and type of operator, no?
No,
Operator, sorry.
actually,
So
see,
why we use type of?
no, basically, if I don't use typo, then this number one will be 4. Okay. Then 4 will never be equal to this string, which is number. Here it is simply string. Okay.
I'm just confusing in that. Why we use type of and then triple equal operator?
See, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to check the type of number. You can, okay,
Yeah.
place it. See, it is always better to use triple equals to whenever you are dealing with such things. Why?
Huh?
Maybe what
Yeah.
happens here in place of
Yeah.
this 4. Okay, I pass a string which is number. Okay, if I pass the string which is number, then also this condition will be fulfilled. But is it what we want to do? No, right? So that's why whatever is getting passed. Now suppose number is getting passed, number as a string. So what will be the type of number one? It will be string. So now string will not be equal to number. We are trying to check the type of number. Okay, and then it should be number. So means I'm not getting what doubt you are having.
Yeah, yeah, yes. If we write like a number one triple equal to number, okay, so it
Hmm.
will solve the problem. Now, why we use type of and
How
then
will it
triple equal?
solve? Tell me, wait. 4 is equal,
Okay.
triple equals to number. Tell me, is this problem solved? You are trying to,
Mm, yeah, yeah. I think so
no, you just think here it will be 4 triple equal.
because it will check first. the value, and then check the operands type of. No?
Okay, you are just telling why are we using type of. Just tell me this line. Is this even meaningful to write this thing? 4, the value of 4 will never be equal to number. Number is a string here.
That where I confused.
Okay, just give it some time because you are getting confused.
नो लॉजिक तो मुझे समझ में आ गया, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, लेकिन मुझे ये कंफ्यूजन है कि टाइप ऑफ एंड ट्रिपल इक्वल क्यों यूज किया, क्योंकि
अरे देखो सुनो,
वही।
wait. Here just tell me about this thing. You are saying that you should not use type of. Okay, I agreed. So what I will do, I will just write number 1 equals to number string. So here what is number 1? Number is basically 4. So if I write this, is it right? Is number 4 equals to number? What will do in the first step? It will check the value. So the value here is 4 and the value here is number as a string. Okay, just
गॉट इट,
leave
गॉट इट,
for now.
गॉट इट, या गॉट
For leave, if it
थैंक
is
यू।
not clear exactly, so just leave for now. Just remember that there is some condition, xyz condition. Okay,
या या
what I'm trying to say is another thing. We don't have to go inside the code for now. See,
या
now what
थैंक
happened,
यू।
earlier we were doing this part, right? But now what I'm trying to say is, here I should remove this now. See, earlier what I was doing, I was just calling on success, okay? And then every time, what means even on for a quite a second, you got confused, right? That what is on success? So for JavaScript is a little baby, right? So for JavaScript, it is so confusing. It has to see every time that okay, on success is basically add two numbers, and then it will go here when we are calling on success number 1 number 2, it is to go basically on add two numbers. So it is quite confusing. So to avoid such things, we always go for callback functions. So here what I have directly do now, just see this example. Okay, here we have function get two numbers and add, and in here we are passing the same numbers 4 4, and just like where we were calling it, right, here we were calling it. Here itself, in place of just adding these two numbers, these two functions explicitly, what I did, I just passed the functions as a whole. So here, if you see, these two lines are a function 1 and these two lines are function 2. Okay, so we have two functions here, one this and one this. Now, what will happen? This is basically what I am trying to do is I am trying to change the function calling. Now just try to see that we have these two codes only. Okay, in here you can see we call get two numbers and 4. If we are if I am passing values here, can't I pass functions? Yes, I can pass functions directly, right? So in just like without, here earlier what we were doing, we were just passing the name of the function. So in place of it, I have just passed the entire function here. Okay, so now the execution will be similar, number 1 number 2, then on success. If on success is getting called, then this means these two lines will be executed. If there is on failure, these two lines will be executed. Is it clear? These are just what I have done. I have just replaced the name with the function itself here while calling. It will just take some time to swallow this because means it might look very clumsy for now, that what we are doing, but it is going for the good. So now what is the benefit of doing this? You don't have to go for to see what is add two numbers here, what is all this. Here what is happening in the on success, directly when we call this function in the on success, this entire definition is getting put. So this got put in the on success directly, and similarly the second one will be in on failure. So now if you call anything, the function definitions are in front of it. Okay. Now,
We are doing here nested callbacks, no?
no, where from
Then
where are nested callbacks here? Here are simple. Either this will on function on success will be called or on failure.
yeah. Got it.
Yeah. Now I have some task. Okay, I want to do something. Let me tell you what I want to do. Mm, I think I misplaced. Okay, leave it for now. See, what I want to do is I have here five headings. Can you see five headings? Here in the browser, if I need to show you, I have these five headings. Okay, let me remove this. So what I basically want to do is, I have five headings, right? So for the heading one, what I want to do, I want to change the content to one, means whatever is the inside content, I want to change it to one, and then there I need some color, let's say purple or any color I want to give. Okay, here I want to give purple, and what I want to do, after 1000 second, this H1 should turn into purple. Now, similarly, for the H2, okay, what I want to do is, I want to change the content, whatever is the content of H2. H2 means heading 2 for here, okay, this heading. Here, what I want the content as 2, and let's say the color red, and it should be after 2000 seconds of this first heading. Similarly, just imagine, keep on imagining for all the five headings. I am just trying to do the same thing. Okay. Here it will be 3, 4, and here 5. Okay. Now here, let us say any color we want to change. And similarly, sometimes what I'm doing, when H2 changes the color, okay, when H2 will change the color after 2 second, 2 second after H1. When H4 will, sorry, this is H3. When H3 will change the color after 1 second of H2. When H4 will change the color after 2 second of H3. When H5 should change the color after 2 second of H4. Is this clear what I want to do?
Yes, yes, it's clear.
So now just try to go with me, okay? What am I trying to do? See, first of all, what I have done, I have just selected all these headings. Okay. I have just selected the element. How we select document or query selector. So here I have just used query selector and the class I have used. Okay. Because each of them was having class heading one and so on. Right. Now, what I will do, I will put a set timeout. Why I am putting set timer? Because I want to change the text content and color only after some interval. Okay, so let's say here after 1 second, I want to change the color and text. So what I will do, I will just put the set timeout, right? So now what I have done, heading one dot text content. What I want to make it, I want to make it one, and the color I want to make it violet. Okay, and after what time? After 1000 second. Similarly, for the second one, I want to make it after 5 seconds. Okay. For the third one, I want to change the color to means red and text to 3 after 2 seconds. After 2 seconds of what? After 2 seconds of this execution of H2. Clear? This should be clear. Similarly for H4 and H5. Is this thing clear till now? Hello?
How can we say after the execution of heading to?
Yeah,
Hello,
let wait for it. I'll just tell you.
hello.
Wait for it. I'll just tell you. Okay. Here, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to change H1 after 1 second. Okay. Okay. Then H2 after 5 seconds. 5 seconds of when H1 is done. Okay. So here, what I have done here, code, I have written that H1 should, heading 1 should change after 1 second. And for heading 2, I have mentioned 5 seconds. So, what the problem here is that okay, after 1 second you have done, but after 5 seconds, will it execute this way? Yesterday we saw something. We saw that if there are a lot of set timeouts, here we have five participants of set timeout. What are those? Set timeout 1 means 1 second, set timeout for 5 seconds, set timeout for 2 seconds, set timeout for 1 second, and again set timeout for 2 seconds. Now, can you guess what will be the actually order of these execution? The order will be set 1, which is
Set one.
this one. Okay. Then again
Again set.
set 1,
Again
which is
set.
at this fourth number. Okay. Then set 2,
Yeah.
which is the second number. Okay.
Two.
And then set 2, which is at the last. And then set 5. But here, this will be the execution, right? Because we have seen yesterday this will be the execution. But what I wanted is, after 1 second of h1, then it should take 5 seconds and then check h2, then it should take 2 seconds and then change h3, and then 1 second and then change h4. So is it this right? What am I doing? No, it is not right. Okay, let's see in the console what it is doing right now. See, just to try to see, okay, what it is happening. One, these two got changed. Two, these two got changed. And three, four, five, this two got changed. Again, one, one and four got changed. Two, three means these two got changed. And after 5 seconds, this two got changed. Okay. So now this is not what I wanted. What I wanted was, had one should means change, then two after 5 seconds, then after 2 seconds three. So one by one they should do. Okay, like synchronously how JavaScript actually should work. Here this is wrong. So now what I should do is, see, H1 is changing after what? This heading one is changing after 1 second. Okay. After these two get changed, what I should do? I should call another function, which is set timeout two for heading two. I should do. Similarly, when as this heading 2 is getting executed, means the text color and style got changed, then it should go for the heading 3. And similarly, then it should go for the heading 4, where, see, can you see here, when heading 3 text is changed, heading 3 color is changed, after that it should wait for 1 second and then change h4. Similarly, for h5, what it should do, when heading of means content of heading 4 is changed, when content of color is changed, after that it should wait and then change for h5. Okay, now this is quite simple for now, but just think, if there are 10 headings, how will it look? Okay, I have actually made here how it will look basically. So this is what I was trying to do. Text, there should be delay and then color should be there. Okay. Now here I have just written. Can you see here in this format the way it is looking?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So here basically what we are trying to do, what we are basically doing, we are calling here for now. This is a callback function, right? This is another callback function. Inside this callback function, we have another callback function, which is this. Okay. Inside this, we have another callback function. So these are nested callbacks. What are these? Nested callbacks. And in means in daily life, you are always bound to do such kind of work where you need to use a lot of callbacks. Here what basically I was trying to do is, after these two get happen, then something else should happen. Now let us check what how it will work. Okay, just see the screen. One, change. One, two, three, four, five, change. Then again one, two, then two, and then whatever was the seconds. So now is it happening right? Heading one got changed, then after some time heading two is getting changed, then three, and then four, and then five at the end. Okay, so this is what we were trying to do, and now it has finally happened. One, then after some time two, after some time three, four, and then five. Clear till now? Clear?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So now basically what just happened is, we have created such kind of, can you see here, means I have just made a lot of spaces here just to show the structure how it is forming. Here also you can see in the code. Now again let me just replace some of the things.
But Aishi, can I ask something?
Yes. Yeah, go on.
In the large projects, na, it is for performance.
Can you please repeat?
In large projects,
Mm-hmm.
it will hamper also. It will take a lot of time.
Actually, we will never do this. That was I was trying to say. Let me complete. Don't go ahead. Let me finish what I want to say. So here, what I'm doing is I have used a lot of nested things. That is clear, right? Now, here, if you can see the structure, it is so confusing. Now, if I want to ask you, when this, let's say this is heading 10, okay. If I want to ask you, when will this heading 10 execute? After what time? You will just scratch your head and just tell me, means you will be very confused. How will it perform? It will do these two lines, okay. Then it will wait for it. Then it will wait for it. Till what time? You need to again and again check. It is so confusing, right? And when we do coding is like you should really understand whatever is happening, and this is not at all machine language, right? This is very easy. We should even comprehend just by seeing the code. So all these callbacks are very confusing. Even if it is not confusing, it is not at all good for the performance. Why? Because here it should not perform this way. Because what happens now, just let me wait for the actual reason why the performance hampers. Let me go for another topic. Okay, there I will actually tell you how what will happen if there are a lot of callbacks in the call stack. Okay, now, so what I was trying to do here, see, if you see the structure, it is taking the structure of pyramid. You know how it is, how a pyramid is there, this way, right? Pyramids like this. So basically, if you see the structure here, it is taking the shape of pyramid. Here you can directly see, right? Now, just to give the clear example of how pyramid will build, let me just continue with another example. Do you just remember this numbers example? How we were doing? We have written the
Yes,
definitions,
yes, yes.
right?
Right.
Now, the same thing I want to do, but I am doing it in a different way now. I want to just simplify it a bit. Okay. For now, you will say I will not use set timeout, because everything, all they are doing is same work. Okay. Every one of them is doing the same work. They are changing color and text. So you will say that you are making me fool. We will never use these things. What we will do, we will use functions because they are actually doing the repetitive work. Okay, I agreed. Now I have changed them to function. What function I have made, just quite means patiently, just see. We have one function which is change text. Okay, we will pass one element here. What is element? Heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, like this. We will pass some text, that this text should be there. See what is basically happening in all of them. All of them have means each of them are different for different kinds of element. Here it is for h1, here it is for heading 2, here it is for heading 3. And everyone is having different kind of color and text, right? The color and text is different. And also what is different is the time interval which is it is taking. So all these things I have made the parameters here: element, text, color, and time. I have made them parameter. Now I have made two functions. Okay, one is on success callback and another is on failure callback. So here, if you see, wait, this is basically a callback, right? For this heading one, wait, for this heading one, entire thing is a callback, right? So what we are doing, if these two are done, after that we have to call these thing, right? This is what I am doing. So similarly, what I have curated in the code is I have made one on success callback. Now what happens? And also I want to add some set timeout. Okay, see here, there is set timeout. After it we have one callback. Clear? Is this thing
Yes,
clear, guys?
yes.
Let me make it quite simple. Please try to understand this, okay? And if you're not getting, just ask there away. See, so basically, this what I was having. I was having some text, some element I was having, then some text, color, and also a timer, right? And apart from this, what I was doing, I was having a set timeout, and inside it, there was a callback function, right? This is nothing but a callback function. This is what I am just describing. So here, if you see the syntax, we have all these things. Okay. Now we have a outer set timeout. And in set timeout, what happens? If element is present, we have to put some condition, right? So if element is present, then what we have to do? We have to add the text color to text. What is the text here? Every time, every element will have different text, right? So it is a variable. So here, that text will be passed here in the text content. Similarly, for a color, the color is different every time, so this color will be passed here. So these two lines, what this one and this one, what the two lines are doing, this is basically what I have written here, just in the form of variables. Now, after this is happening, what we have to do, we have to call this callback function, this sorry, we have to call this function which is inside, right? Now what I have to do, if there is on success callback, then I have to call this function basically. And otherwise, what I will do, I will pass another thing. And if you notice here, see, have you learned about recursion earlier in any language? In
Yes.
recursion, what happens? We do one work, and then a similar kind of work, but in a smaller scale, we do afterwards. So here, this is a big function basically. Okay, how many headings it is having? Let's say 10 headings it is having. Now, if we go on the and see what this second callback is basically doing, so this second callback is having the same things, but this time it will be having, let's say, 9 callbacks. Then again, the inner one will have 8 callbacks. So basically, all of them are having the same thing, right? So here, all of them will be calling the same type of function. Now here I have just added one more thing, that if we don't pass element, then it should call another function which is on failure function. Clear? And also at the end we have time, just like here we were having time, so here we are having time. Now I want you to please just go through it once more and try to understand the code definition. See what I did. Element I took, text, color, I time, and there is one function that if this element is present, we have to call this function, and if that this element is not present, we will call this on failure callback function. Clear? Now again, I have to make it in this format only. So what is the format? I have to use set timeout. So here I have set timeout. Inside it, what I have done, I have changed this, if element is present, then element dot get text color should get this text, and similarly for color. And also I have added one more point, that if on success callback is present, then it should call this on success. Otherwise, it should call on failure. Okay. Just don't go for it. Then when this on success will call on failure, don't go for it till now. Now see what we are doing. Here, let me just go through, take you to this example again. How we were solving here, just quickly means remember, we were passing some parameters, okay, and then we were having callback, means these callback definition, whatever functions were callback, so their entire definition we were writing here. This was the first function, and comma, this is the second function, right? Similarly here, now if you relate, we are having five, means four of these parameters, and then two functions. So here also we were having two functions. Here also we have two functions. Now, how will I call it? What will I write? Change text. This is the outer function. Inside it, I will pass four parameters. Let's say heading 1, text should be 1, color should be violet, and time should be 1 second. And now I will have one callback. Wait. copied it here. Give me a minute. See what I am doing. I am calling this change text. Okay. Inside it, I am passing some callback. Okay. This is the callback till here. Now, dot comma I am adding, and then I am adding another thing that if it is not, means if it is calling on failure callback, so I have to pass that function also. So that function is this, that it should call this function. Is this clear? Means these two lines. See, one parameter, second parameter, third parameter, fourth parameter. After that, what we are having? We have one function which is on success callback. So here, from here, this try to see this pink braces. So this is one callback. Then again, comma. We have another callback. Clear till now, guys? You need to speak up.
Yes, थोड़ा थोड़ा.
Yeah, it will be confusing, but don't worry, no one will ask you to write like this, because that's why we never use this. We have something else for this situation. For now, just understand that this is what the problem is. If I want to ask, write, if I want to do this simple task, what was the task basically? That I want to change these the text to these after these delay and this color. Isn't it so simple task? So simple. But how we are doing it like this, and this is so confusing, isn't it? You say that this set timeout was simpler earlier one, but we will not use this because we are doing the repetitive thing. So we will use function. Now if I have used function, then also it is so confusing. So here, see, for the fun you understand. Then similarly for the second one, what we are having, heading to one parameter, two parameter, three parameter, fourth parameter. Now try to see this blue yellow line. This is first callback, and comma, this is second callback. Clear? Similarly, for the third one, you will do, and so on. You will keep on going for the 10 headings. Okay. And now, can you see the structure? And if I ask you something in middle, that when will this heading 5 will get called? It is so confusing. For now, okay, you have written your code, you are understanding, you are means understanding at every step that okay, you are doing this for this. But suppose this is someone else's code. Will you be able to understand? No, right? It is very difficult to understand. So that's why these are called callback hell. Hell, you all know what is the meaning of hell. So this is what called as callback hell, because they are literally making our life.
Yes, we are experiencing.
Yes, exactly. By making the code so complex, they are making us hell. So that's why they are called callback hell. So if someone asks you what is the callback hell, basically, it is simply a lot of nesting of callbacks. So if you see here, all are callback, right? Because this is basically one function, and this function is the parameter of this function is basically parameter in a function. So what is called parameter? Means if function is a parameter, what it is called? Simply a callback, right? So all these are callback if you see. So here a lot of callbacks are used in the nested form, and that's why they make callback hell. And it is so means for readability it is not good. For reusability, will you be able to reuse it somewhere? If you want to reuse it, you have to see the entire code and then only you can do it. So the for the reusability also it is not good, and for the performance wise this is not good. Okay. Now if you see the structure it has formed, due to the structure it is called pyramid of doom. Doom means a lot of dukh. Okay. So here it is just making our life hell, and also seeing this pyramid is nothing less than any dukh. Okay. So that's why it is called as pyramid of doom. So, so these two were the two concepts, that what is callback hell. So a lot of nesting of callbacks, and what is pyramid of doom. The structure which these callbacks, when a lot of nested callbacks are used, then they take a structure of pyramid, and that pyramid structure is called pyramid of doom. Is it clear? Clear, guys?
Yes, yes.
And don't worry, you know, we'll never have to write such kind of code, okay? So if you are not getting it, don't scratch your head, just go on ahead. Now, I have a solution for this. I know you are tired seeing all this thing and very worried that if we need to use this thing, it will be very bad. So there is something else, okay, which comes in rescue. These are called promises. Before promises, let me just ask you one simple question. Do you love fried rice? Hello, hello, guys.
No, no. Yeah,
Still, if you don't love, means you have heard about fried rice, right?
yes, yes.
Okay. So here, basically, I'm trying to make fried rice. Okay. Now, for fried rice, I need means here it is coffee. Let's replace it with something else. Means I was trying to write something else and it got coffee. Okay. Maybe I was craving for it, so that's why it got here in written. So for now, just understand that I want fried rice and coffee. Okay. This is my order. I come in one restaurant and my order is I want fried rice plus coffee. So now whoever is the chef, okay, that chef will be in the kitchen, right? We made the order in the counter that I want fried rice and also coffee. Now that chef will be able to do all these things, and also let's say I have asked for chips. Okay, these are the three items which I need. Let me just write clearly. Fried rice, I want chips, and I want coffee. Okay, these things I want. Now there is one chef inside. Okay, when will this chef be able to give my order? The conditions are it should have coffee. If there are no coffee present, how will it give me a coffee? And what my condition is, I want all three of them fully, or I want none of them. If I don't get chips, I won't take any of them. Okay, this is my condition. So I asked for means the chef should have coffee, it should have chips, then only it can give me. Then for making fried rice, it should have some vegetable, salt. By salt, I just mean a lot of masales and all, but here for simplicity, it's just salt. And then obviously we want rice to make fried rice. Okay, so these are the five items which I should need. Now whoever will be in the counter now, he has made me the promise that I will give you all these three things, don't worry. So what he has done, he has made me a promise. Okay, now if inside the kitchen, if all the five items are present, then only my promise means his promise will be fulfilled, because then only he will be able to give me all these three items. Otherwise, what it will do, he will reject my order. Okay, so there are two things: fulfill and then reject. Clear? Clear, guys, this small story?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
So here, what I was saying, it means trying to say with all these bakwas is simply that I need some of the things to be done already. Then only I will be able to do something. Okay. And what we do, this fried rice, if you go to the hotel and you order, give me fried rice, will you get at instant? No, you don't get, right? The state is always in the pending state. So whenever it will get cooked, after that only they will be able to give us this fried rice, right? So here they basically what they do, they make some promise, and there are two conditions which are associated to any promise. You can take it in any general promise also. Either you will fulfill it or you will reject it. By reject, I what I mean, we will not accomplish it. Okay. Now here, what I've tried to do is in programming, if I want to make any promise that, okay, don't worry, I will give you this, and when it will give, when all the processing in the kitchen will happen, after that, you will get all these three items. So, here there will be some coding, right? After that coding, you will get some output. Clear? So when this output is coming after a lot of time, okay, and there is a chance that this output will come, so we make it promise This was the general example to say this thing. Now let's see how we will actually make one promise. So see, basically try to see the code here as well, because you will be able to see the entire. Okay, see here what I'm trying to do. I have one variable, means I have one array. Let's say it is in my bucket list. Okay, I have all these four items. What all things do I have? I have coffee, means let's say five items. I'm not writing everything here. Okay, five items we have. Now I want to make a promise. So how will I make promise? I will first of all make a constant. Okay, it will be anything. Every time we have to make either function or any variable. Okay, so here let's say I am write fried rice promise. Do you see how am I writing the name of any variable in the form of camel case, right? Because
Camel
this is
case.
what we do. Now, if you want to make a promise, we have to use one class. And if we want to use one class, what I will do, I will add new keyword. Then the class name will be promise. Okay. This promise is again very simple. It is basically having one callback. Now, please be used to deal with callbacks. Otherwise, it will be problem every time. If you are not comfortable with callbacks now, it will be a issue every time. So here, see, this is basically a callback, right? A proper empty callback. Okay. Now, inside the callback, every time there are two parameters. One is resolve, okay, and the other is reject. Now, please note that the first one will always be resolved and the second one will always be reject. Okay. Now, here, just suppose inside the callback, there will be some conditions. Oh, sorry. There will be some conditions. This code will be going on. Okay. All this code means, if you want to understand with the earlier example, the chef will be cooking all these things. Okay. Now, basically, what will happen? Let's say there is one condition that if this bucket this bucket is having coffee, then okay. And we also need, we have and condition, right? Because I want other things as well. So if bucket is having chips, again. And if bucket is having vegetables, okay, again. And because I want other things as well. If bucket is having salt, again. And if bucket is having, what was the last thing, rice. Okay, so I want all these five things. If bucket is having all these things, what it should do, it should give me fried rice, right? So what, let's say it should give me in the value that here is your fried rice. Can you try, means are you able to relate with the example of this, means general life example and this coding? In the coding we have to return in some format, right? So here, let's say this is the kind of plating I have done. Now, this is what you want to return. Okay. But here, the case is you can't return like this. In the promise, if you have made promise, there are two states. One is resolve, another is reject. What I mean by resolve means if a promise is fulfilled, so we will use resolve. If a promise is rejected, we will just use rejected. Now, this is what you needed to pass, right? What I will do is I will use this resolve function. Inside it, I will pass this value, whatever I want to pass. Basically, whatever will be the output, that will be inside resolve. All these things are the part of coding. There will be an enormous code, but the end you will get some output, right? So this output will be in the form of this inside resolve function. Now there is another second thing. Else what we will do, we will have to reject it. So similarly, just like we were resolving, in the rejected also we have to do. Now let's say in the rejected, I want to just pass one line console that rejected. Okay, so this is what the syntax of promise is. Now again, I'm just repeating and trying to. Just try to go on with me, okay? See, first of all, I will make some variable. Let's say fried rice promise, okay? After that, what I have done, use new keyword. Then I have to call one class, and that class will contain callback. Okay, so here if you see, we have simple callback. This is the basic structure. Now in the callback, we will have two arguments. The first one will always be resolved, the second one will be reject. You can give any name, okay? You can give ABC like this. You already know that you can give any name to the arguments, but basically we always give resolve and reject so that it can be reusable and also readable, so that other person whoever is reading my code, they can understand, okay, you are doing this thing. Now in the resolve, let's say there will be a lot of code going on, okay? But at the end, what will happen, there will be two cases. If something is done, means based on some condition, there will be a lot of code again. But after that, what we have to do, we will give, sorry, we will finally be able to make the final product. So what was our final product? Let's say here we write in the resolve, and here just remember we write final product, or I should say output. Okay. Now again, this is about if is fulfilled. Now suppose if this if condition fails, then we will have some else also. So inside else, what will happen, there will be reject, right? This is not able to, we don't are not able to do this. So here we will have some error message. Mostly we have some error message that we failed because of these things. So what will the chef say? Sorry, we are not able to do it. Why he will reject? Because either he will not have coffee or something among those five list. Is this thing clear till now? Quite a bit.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to say something? Hello.
No, no,
Yes,
nothing.
no, no, no.
Okay, so now I'm just repeating again, coming on this thing, okay? What I was trying to do earlier. See, basically, here again, what I was doing, based on some conditions. Okay, if those conditions pass, I have to call one function or I have to do something. And if it fails, if this condition fails, I have to go on the failure part, right? Similar is the situation here. If all of them pass, then what I will give, I will get output, right? Here, what we do, we don't just return output, we don't do this thing. What we do, we resolve it, that your promise is resolved and now here is your plate, like this. And if all of them does not work, what we do, we reject it, right? Now let's go to the example which we were seeing. So for the basic code, we see we have bucket, all five items we are having. Now I think the basic structure is quite clear. First of all, what you will do, you will create a variable, then again new promise, then you have this callback. And now if you see, callback starts from here, and um, the callback block basically starts from this part and it ends here, right? Here inside, what we are having, based on some condition. So we have this if condition, if this happens and this is also there, then what we'll do, we will just return this value, means we are basically returning this object here, for example. And why I have used object here and string here, because so that it can be comfortable to you. Because every time, the condition is not only if else, there will be a very complex situation. And also, not only you will every time pass a string, but also there will be some kind of data. After the accomplishment of all those things, you might be able to pass some data. So here I have taken this data in the form of object. So what I have done, resolve object, and then reject some string. Now there is another thing. For now, what we have done, we have basically created promise. Okay, all these things were to basically create promise. Now you will say, how will I use this object, how will I get this output? For now, you might think that this output will come in fried rice. You are right, this output is coming in fried, right? But in a different way, you can't just directly get it. Okay, what you have to do, you have to go and pay for the amount, okay, whatever is the billing, and then you can take your parcel, let's say. So here the format to do is, we have two things. First is dot then, and another there is dot catch, okay. Both of them are having callbacks, okay. This is one callback, and again this catch will also have one callback. Again this catch will have one callback. I told now that this callback will be an integral part of your life now. It will always be there for you. Now, on which you will be able to add this dot then and all. You will be able to add, see here we used one variable, right? So this variable is basically a promise entire. What, who is the promise here? This fried rice promise variable is the promise. So you will write the name of the promise, and then you will use dot then. Okay. In here, what will happen? There will be one parameter which will be resolved data. And here what will happen? There will be rejected data. Okay. Now see what actually happens. You did resolve output, right? You send like this and your task was done. Now this output will come here in the parameter. This resolved data will be basically this output. So when you do this dot then, inside it you will pass one callback, and in here whatever is the parameter, that is basically the output which you have resolved. So this output comes here. Now whatever you want to do with this output, let's say you want to do another a lot of complex thing again or etc, but here I just want to console this output, okay. Here also you gave some error message, right? You passed one error message here in the reject. Whenever you are rejecting, it will come in the catch. In the catch callback, it will come as in the form of variable, this parameter here basically. So here this error message comes. Now again what you can do is you can console this error message simply. So this is the most simplified version of promise till now ever exist, okay. Again I am repeating, here you are basically creating some promise. Now here what you are doing, here you are, we say consuming the promise. Consuming promise, okay. In consuming promise what happens, there will be two cases. First case will be if it gets resolved. If it gets resolved, what will happen, it will come in the then. What I mean by it come in the then means, in the then's, just try to see then's callback parameter. Are you able to understand this line? Then is having one parameter means callback, right? Then is having this callback. In the callback there is a parameter, so this resolve, whatever you are resolving, that will come in the then's callback parameter. Similarly for the reject case, the second case will be, it can be rejected, the chef is not able to do it, so it will be rejected. And when it will reject it, it will come in the catch, and inside the catch is callback parameter. Here, this is the callback of catch, and this is the parameter. So whatever you rejected, that thing actually come here. Is this clear, guys?
Yes, so ma'am, in the line number 127, can we
Maybe.
write fried rice promise dot catch?
Okay, yeah, you can write
Like we
this.
will, like we use. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do. No worries.
Okay.
Directly also you
Is it
want to.
mandatory or it is?
No, see, actually, what the thing is, always if it is a promise, then it will have two cases. So mostly you will have all both of the case, right?
Okay, it is like if else statement.
Yes, if else
If this or
statement.
this.
Like
Else.
if this means actually
Okay.
what happens now, if it is resolve, see every time there will be resolve and reject. So there will be two things inside also. So how you will use these two things? So how you will consume the promise? So for that we have then and catch. Okay. And mostly what happens, we have a lot of then because we can do then chaining also. And always we generally have one catch, that you also know na, there are a lot of if else, if else, if else, but at the end we have one else, right? At the end, that if none of these pass, we will do this thing. So similarly, this is the case with this reject. Okay.
Okay.
Now if
It's Ayushi.
yes.
It's working. Try catch now.
Yeah, you can say it. But the execution is different here. Means try and catch. Once try is done, it is done. But here there is something else. Means I'll just go in detail that this then every time returns one promise. Okay. So again on this then you can use another then and catch. So this is quite complex thing apart from this normal try and catch. Okay. So now see, we resolved this thing. Here, when I want to consume the promise, what I will do, I will use this variable name dot then. Here, my fried rice is simply this object as a whole. So here, if you see, we are just printing that object. And similarly, here we are passing something. So we have given the name here as error, and now we are simply trying to print the error. So it is simply like you are calling another function. Here you are just calling it, and here you are defining it that do these things with the function. Okay, you can take it in whatever way. Just try to learn the concept, how it is actually working. These lines are very important. Always remember, it will happen in this format only. Okay, new promise, then there will be resolve reject, then after some conditions you will resolve and some pass something in here. If it not passed, that condition is not passed, you will reject it, and in here also you will pass something. What you will do, you will use that parameter, means either variable or function, and then you will do dot then, and again there will be a parameter that will have means contain this whatever you are resolving. Similarly, there will be again parameter in the callback of this the catch, and that will contain whatever you are passing the reject. This is the entire thing. Okay, going ahead, the next thing is means this you can just see I have written already for you. I have just mentioned it in the code the similar way I have explained you. Now there is very interesting concept. I hope you are not bored and enjoying it, right?
Yes,
Enjoying,
ma'am.
guys?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, means at what time do you want me to end the class today? Because I'm just thinking to complete the promise today, but it will take another half an hour. Will it be fine?
At max two if it is fine from your side.
Okay, means by 2:15 we'll end, okay? Whatever is the case. Okay. Now, this is very optional case. If you want to go deep dive into promises, then only I should cover this topic because it will take a long time. And also, basically, this is what it is important, overall things. And this is what they will ask. If you are thinking yourself as a good developer, as a senior developer position, then you should definitely know how to answer this thing. Okay, now just try to see this code first. Okay, in the first line what we are doing, we are simply consoling it. In the second line we have one variable, simple variable. In the third line we have created one promise. In the fourth line we are consuming that promise. In the fifth line we have set timeout. In the sixth line there is some normal function, means for loop. And in the seventh line there is again console. All these things are clear? Anything you don't know in these 7 lines?
No, ma'am.
Everything clear? I have not written the entire promise because I just wanted to make it simplify. Okay, now can you just guess, sorry, can you just guess what will be the output of these 7 lines? Chalo, let's work. First of all, we will go in the line 1 because JavaScript is synchronous language, so it will go line by line. So when it comes in the line number 1, what will it get? Tell me, what will it print? Script start.
Script start.
Right.
Yeah.
Then what will happen?
It will create a array named bucket.
No console thing. Yes. Then it will create some
Then a
promise.
promise.
Right. So here comes the biggest part. When we are creating promises, now I want to explain some of the things to you. Just like we did yesterday. Okay. See, we have 4 things: callback, Oh, sorry, again callback I have written. Call stack we have. Then we were having one node API thing, right? Remember this node
Yes, sir.
API? Then we had one callback queue. Okay. Now, along with callback queue, we have another queue, which is known as micro queue. Okay, I'm just
We have
writing
event
it.
loop as well, no?
Yeah, we have event loop, but for now, just this queue I want to say. For queue, we are having two. Let's say it micro task queue. It will be more simplified. Now, along with these, we have event loop every time. Okay. Are these things clear that we are having all these five things now? Till yesterday, we saw four of them. Now we are studying about microtask queue. So basically, what happens? For now, just you can forget this Node API, okay? Because everything which will come in the Node API that will come in the my callback queue, and then event loop will check if call stack is empty, and then it will pass in the call stack. I hope this is clear. Right, now let's see what happens the execution here. Again we are going to see we start with line number one. Okay, here what happens in the call stack. First of all, our main function will start. Okay, we have main function. When we are on line number one, we will have this log function. Okay, log function started. Now we executed this log function, and what we got printed on the console, script start. Here you can see, right? So I should remove this log function. Now in the second step, what happens? We have means another bucket is creating. So here you can just see that this is the part of role of main only. So main must be having two things. One is the execution phase and the context memory creation phase. Okay, so in the memory creation phase, this bucket earlier should be hoisted, and this bucket was uninitialized. Now it got initialized. I hope this is clear. Now, the main thing comes at the third line. Are you able to just figure out, means visualize whatever is happening?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, 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 ma'am.
Now, in the third thing, we are creating one promise. Okay. This is very interesting. What will happen with the promise? We got one promise. Okay. JavaScript will say, I am just such a little baby. I don't know, means how will I perform all these kind of works? Only me. How will I do alone? So what JavaScript has got? JavaScript has got one friend. Okay, can you guess me who is the friend of JavaScript?
Browser API.
Yes, browser. Okay, let's just keep it simple. We have browser as a friend. Okay, now what will happen whenever any promise comes? JavaScript will give promise to browser. Okay, basically this all these thing callback queue, event loop, microtask queue. These are actually the part of browser. These are happening because of browser. Okay, so these are the interaction. This is of JavaScript, and this is the headache of browser. So there is always a transaction between them. If they get promise, now whenever they got promise, here's the interesting thing. Earlier if we were getting time callback, means see we got this set timeout, right? So set timeout was going in the node API, and then it was going in the callback, because basically it was having one callback, right? So it was going in the callback queue. But this time, if they get any promise, that promise will come and go in the microtask queue. Okay, where it will go? In the microtask queue. Clear? So this microtask queue will have this promise. Now, going ahead, JavaScript is free. That it was having some promise, and it has given some promise to browser. Now whenever it is the resolving case, it will go with all these along with the promise, and this resolving everything it will give to microtask queue. Okay, now in the fifth line, what these two lines are executed, right? As it send everything to microtask queue, its work is done. So it will come in the fifth line. What fifth line is saying? Please send me to node API. So it is sent to node API, and after node API, where it will be sent? In the callback queue, because it is basically one minute. So basically this callback, let's say set timeout. Okay, this set timeout will come here in the callback queue. Is this thing clear till now? We are on the line number 5 and line number 5 is done. Now comes the sixth line. Sixth line is simply JavaScript work. So JavaScript will do all these work. What it will do? It will again means for the 100 times it will print these random values of math. Okay. So now in the console what you have got till now? A script start, and then here for 100 means 100 times it will print some random values. Okay, now this sixth line is already executed. Now it comes on the seventh line. Okay, so it is simply log. So here it log function will come and it will print script end. So script end is printed. Till now it is done. And also once it is printed, log will go away. Okay, and when log will go away, the main function is done. Everything of main function is done till now. So this main function will always go out, also go out. For now, let us suppose that main function is still there. Okay, and I want to tell you what is happening in the background. See, this set timeout is in the callback queue, and this promise is in the microtask queue. Okay, so this set timeout will be having some time interval, right? That after this time interval, I want to do all these things. So it will do after the time interval. This event loop will check that now this set timeout is ready to execute. As this main function gets removed, it will send this set timeout. Similarly, this promise will also be ready to execute consume. Okay, as this event loop sees that if callback is empty, then it will send something from callback and from microtask to call stack. Now there comes the competition. You have heard about Dev and what means Manthan. You have no, you know that two people are equally
Yes,
powerful
yes.
actually, and then they are both fighting for something. Okay, here what is the fight? Basically the fight is to come inside the call stack. Okay, what is the event loop responsible for? It is simply responsible to just let them know that when call stack is empty. Now suppose this main function is executed. Okay, oh, sorry, let's suppose this main function was executed fully and it has gone out of the call stack. So now call stack is empty. Now there is a competition between two things: set timeout and promise. Who will be sent first? If there will be a lot of set timeout, whoever is taking the less time, that will be sent first, right? This we have seen yesterday. But now there are set timeout and promises. Who will go first? So here there is two interest means actually one interesting line. This you need to remember, that the priority of microtask queue is greater than callback queue. So here basically in that Manthan who won, I guess, or they've only won, right? So here microtask is queue is the winner. It has priority. It might have given some bribe to the browser that please let me go first. Okay, so first of all what will happen? This promise will be taken away. Okay, so now this promise will come in the call stack. Okay, here what will happen? All the execution will be done. If it is getting resolved and or rejected, that means that is the internal thing that will be done. Once this promise is done, again when call stack is empty, then the set timeout will be taken from the callback queue and it will come here in the call stack. And after means it will also do its work. Here what its work is simply to console hello from set timeout. So it will print this hello from set timeout, and then it is also done. And like this all the work is done. Call stack is empty, microtask queue is empty, event loop is empty, and everyone is empty, like. Okay, and all are happy because they all got chance to move in the college stack. Is this thing clear? You can go and read these points, okay, and then you can understand everything, each and every line I have explained. Now here you what you needed to remember was that priority of set promise is greater than set timeout, or you can say that priority of task queue is greater than set callback, because basically in the callback queue mostly set timeout comes. Okay, or we can say callbacks comes, and in the micro task queue promises comes. Okay, So this was the thing, and today we have learned all these four things: call stack, callback queue, event loop, microtask queue. Now is everything clear to you till now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And it was fun, right?
Yeah.
And please try to practice such kind of questions, that what will execute first. Here if you see, the promise was earlier, it was early in the code, and the set timeout was later, but still here, who is executed first? Promise. Even though promises are after set timeout, then also promises will be executed first. Why? Because microtask queue has more priority, and both of them will be in the competition until and unless this call stack is empty. So here if you get a lot of work to do in the main function, you will do all the main means work, whichever is the synchronous, which is not related to browser, you will do all those things. After that, you will come to promises or callback. Okay, so remember this thing. I think I should end now because things will be more confusing to you. So yeah, we can stop, and tomorrow. Okay, any doubt?
No, no doubt.
So just ending the class now.